Dear audience, dear professor, good evening. Today it's with a great pleasure that my fellow teammates and I are here to present to you our project, which is definition of the tool Microsoft Dynamics 365, its pros and cons. Then we're going to move to a real-life example of the use of Dynamics 365 and the business benefits of this tool. As a start, what is Microsoft Dynamics 365? It is basically a cloud-based business applications platform that combines components of the CRM and ERP, which is the customer relationship management and enterprise resource planning, along with productivity applications and artificial intelligence tool. Normally, Dynamics 365 was launched on 2016. It's a combination of Dynamics X, which is the ERP application of Microsoft, and Microsoft itself. Actually, Microsoft was one of the first major vendors to combine between the ERP and CRM capabilities. As you can see on the screen, it has two main editions, which is the business edition and enterprise edition. And for the pricing, they have basically the bundle and the role-based licensing, which is used by most of the customers around the world. As for, they have a lot of applications and features that can be chosen by the company. For example, they have the sales, the field service, finance and operations, in which they do scheduling, reporting, and the inventory management, and also supply chain management. Then, more specifically, we have the main features of the Dynamics Enterprise and main features of Dynamic Business, as you can see on the screen. And now I will leave the floor to my teammate Vishal to explain to you the pros and the cons of this tool.
Okay, let's see the pros of Dynamics 365. So the first pro is like infrastructure cost. So it's a cloud-based system, and you don't need to buy additional hardwares for this to use this platform. And using a cloud-based system helps us to have an universal access. So the data can be accessed from anywhere in the world, and you can use that with multiple licensing. And usability and integration. It is a Microsoft product, and you have a great advantage of using the other Power Apps. You can integrate with Dynamics 365 like Word, Excel, email, etc. And when it comes to licensing and customization, you can just buy the service that you need, and you don't have to pay for the rest. And you also have the advantage of dedicated app store with like around 750 add-ons and extensions. And one of the other advantages, like you can sync my Dynamics 365 with Microsoft Azure. And Dynamics 365 can also be integrated with business intelligence, analytics, and artificial intelligence. Integrating with these gives you an accurate data over time, and also offers us a consistent experience across tools and devices. When it comes to maintenance and security, it's a cloud-based system. Microsoft takes care of the platform, and it gives us continuous updates. And also, we'll be given the administrative control, and we can control who can watch which data you want. And now the cons of Dynamics 365. So one of the disadvantages, like when your company doesn't use a Microsoft product, it's very difficult. You will have potential fall into some compatible issues. And pricing, it's not free. You have to pay, but you have to pay only for the service you want. When it compared to Salesforce, SAP, and Oracle, its pricing is better. And nowadays the customers prefer bundle and role-based licensing, and Microsoft Dynamics 365 has those options. So even though it's a cloud-based system, like you have to pay for each additional room you want in the cloud, and it's internet reliant. What it means is, like in the current situation, without internet nothing can be accessible. So, and it's a cloud-based system, so you have to have continuous access for the internet to operate this tool. So I'll give the platform to Zoe.
So now let's focus on a concrete example where Dynamics allows maximum visibility from a financial point of view and thus be able to predict a certain level of profitability. First of all, we can see in the upper part of the report a clear account of the company's key figures: revenues, expenses, gross margin in percentage, net income, and the earnings before interest and tax. Thus, we can see the major incoming and outgoing flows. Just below, Dynamics offers us a geographical vision of revenue sources. On the map, you can see, for example, which states generate the most revenue. We can then see a summary of revenues and expenses in graphical form. In this case, the data are for 2 years. Revenues and expenses are placed side by side, so it's quite easy to realize the gap between the two amounts. We then have two summaries that focus exclusively on expenses. The first one details the categories in which expenses are allocated. We can see here that the biggest sources of spending are the categories cost of goods sold, manufacturing expenses, and administrative expenses. Finally, the last report provides a visual indication of where the company is going to allocate its expenses. All these reports allows the company to situate itself as close as possible to reality on different flows and allows to always adapt. Here we saw the specific example of the financial part. The tool Dynamics allows to act in consequence of the company's activity. I will now leave the floor to Emanjali.
So yes, a satisfied customer is the end goal of every company. Now let us discuss about the key benefits of business using Dynamics 365. As the organization grows, it needs more capabilities to integrate into workflow. This increases the need for data analytics. Data analytics gives you an idea of what you need to do in the future. Besides, it helps strengthen security. It also helps in rectifying the errors in a minute by keeping track of the values and reducing the reporting errors. Now, let us look at the tool on how we understand the customers in a completely new way. That is, by adapting, being flexible to changes, and smart decision making. By understanding our customers by combining internal and external resources to understand the preferences and behavior of our customers, in a way it increases customer loyalty. Also, the use of pre-built KPI to understand the customer experience with real-time updates by facilitating decision making. Thank you for your attention.